don't know me or just now starting to get to know me, um, my name's DJ, or I go by DJ now. Kind of trying to put my past life into the past, you know what I mean? Um, but what I'll be doing is right here. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Um, I'm probably just gonna go through about an hour of reading, opening up the first page, and going from there for about an hour, and then about another, 20 to 30 minutes of explaining what brought me to God so close and kind of just going over, my past life that I kind of just want to forget about already and move on from. So, there might be some crying, there might be some emotions for sure that'll come up and, you know, those types of things happen when you're doing shit like this. Um, I've kind of been holding off from it for a while because I don't know if I'm scared to let go of the past or what. But I probably shouldn't give a fuck about that anymore. You know what I mean? And yeah, so my I have my Twitch up right now. So my Twitch is up. My Twitch is working. Um, I have no idea why this shit's sideways. Um, if you know how to fix that on Twitch, let me know. I have no idea how to fix that. How do I fix that? How do I fix that chat? Stream manager. Hold on, chat. I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this camera angle because it's trash. How do I do that? So on Kick it looks good. On Twitch it does. How do I fix that? I don't want to have to. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to do that. Well, I guess we're gonna have to deal with that the way it is, because I really don't know how to fix that. Alright, Twitch, stay with me now. So, Twitch, I'm sorry. This does not look good, and I will fix that. But it's because I'm using my phone, so I'm trying to use like the IRL setup, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's not really it's not working with me right now, chat. I'll be honest. Anyways, is that annoying or should I go on the Twitch app to see how it looks? Anyways, we're gonna start on Genesis. Genesis page 1. So, if you've never read the Bible before, neither have I. So, I'm opening it for the first time. Like I said, everybody on Twitch, I'm gonna fix the screen, but it's 8 o'clock in the morning right now, and this is my first day opening up the Bible in about, man, like 13 years, probably 14 years, 15 maybe. But I'm gonna try my best. Again, reading isn't my strong suit. Um, I need to fix this layout. So I'm gonna try to figure out how it looks on Twitch. If it looks good on Twitch, just let me know. But besides that, I'm gonna try to fix the screen for you guys because it's pretty trash. Just so I can hang in with me. Hang tight, guys. Check, check, 1, 2. That's working. Hmm. Okay. Um, I'm trying to figure it out. My fault. I will figure this out, chat. I will figure this shit out. Okay. Yeah, so I need to figure out this chat. I need to figure this out ASAP. So let's just do this. Let's just do this. See what happens. It's still not the way I want it to. So it's still not the way I want it. And it's super big. So okay. I think it's chilling now. I really don't care too much about anything else. It's just the look of it's just the look of the live, you know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be sideways. Is there any way to fix that? Guess I gotta chat GBT this shit. I mean, YouTube and Kick looks good. I mean, it's not the best camera quality, to be honest, but I don't know how to fix this fucking camera angle, bro. I don't know how to fix nothing. Mm, it's kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. I can't fix the view. I wish I could because it would look a lot better, but I guess for today we're just gonna have to chill with that, bro. Yeah, looks like we're just gonna have to chill with that. So, Twitch, hello YouTube, and hello Kick. Um, Today we're just gonna be reading the Bible. It's my first day, opening up, the Bible in about 15 years or so. And I was asking God today or yesterday, for a sign of what I need to do to get towards what I want and to get towards my goals and ambitions and everything like that. And this is what came across my brain. This is what got me closer to what kind of, makes me happy, and it's just understanding what he wants from me and what he's calling me for, what I need to do in this world. Cause to be honest, I'm lost, you know. But opening up this book, I'm gonna about to spend about an hour just reading Genesis, going from page one, and just, I guess just giving you my insight to the word, I guess, and getting a little bit more familiar with it. So I guess we'll start from there. Um, I was asking people for donations on a Bible, but my mom gave me this one, and I'm gonna get another Bible today, so I can give her back this one. But from the Holy Scriptures, from what I understand, is Genesis. Is the first book. There's other books that are left out, and obviously I want to be doing my research, along the way of um, what's the best way to read it, what's the best way to understand it, and what's the best way to, there's a lot of bad things in this world, right? There's a lot of evil. And this is a big thing of like how people understand, is there a God, is there not a God? And from the biggest thing that I learned is when I didn't believe that there was a God, I just believed that the universe, kind of just goes along with itself and it works in between itself and we are the universe and we are our own God and we are our own perception and that's all that there is. But when you realize how much evil there is in this world, right? Like how much people hurt each other, how much people you know, do bad things to others, you know that there's evil in the world, right? And if you know that there's evil, you know that there's good. And with there being good, something controls that evil. And with there being good, something also controls that good. And God is that good. God is the light. Um, he's a savior for a reason, right? So, um, I always knew that he was there. I always knew that, something was watching over. And I'm just gonna read the Bible. I'm not saying that the Bible is your answer to all your problems or nothing like that. The Bible is just kind of here to guide you in the right steps towards what your life is. Because if you don't open up this Bible right and you just live your life, um, everything that happens in your life will lead you in the direction of what the Bible says and what the Bible, talked about and what the Bible lived through. It's kind of already been happening in all of our lives. We know that, right? The Bible connects in different ways, and um, if we just live our life without even ever reading the Bible, if we live our life without even ever going to church, the stuff that's gonna happen in your day-to-day life is gonna be what the Bible had also said, and I mean that's just facts. Live your life out and go read the Bible at the end of your life, and everything that's in this book will connect to your life in some type of way, right? So this is the stem of it. So from Genesis, we're just gonna start with Genesis. Twitch, if you're there, I can see your chat, so just say hi. If you want to say anything, just say hi. Kick, YouTube, I can't see my YouTube right now, but if you want to comment anything, I'll go back into my YouTube chat. I'm gonna get on TikTok live here in a second too. So I can kind of just get all lives working up and going, and then we'll just go from there. So yeah, Genesis page 1. Okay. All right. Genesis page 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth provided to the formless and waste, and there was darkness upon the surface of the watery deep. And God's active force was moving to and from over the surface of the waters. And God proceeded to say, "Let light come to be." Then there came to be light. After that, God saw that the light was good, and God brought about a division between the light and the darkness. Now I'm gonna try my best to not like stop. Um, I'm gonna try to just read through everything, and then at the end of it, either if not go back to some of the things that I've read, or at the end of it just talk about kind of how I feel and why some of these things are crazy. Because even just this, right, is crazy. I just talked about how I didn't believe in God and how I just believed that there was good and evil. But if there's evil, then there's the devil. And if there's good, then there's God, right? So he, obviously said, and God brought about the division between the light and the darkness, which is that division. There's always going to be a division of 50-50. And God became call and God began calling the light day, but the darkness he called night. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a first day. And God went on to say, "Let an expanse come to be between the waters, and let the dividing occur between the waters and the waters." Then God proceeded to make the expanse and to make a division between the waters that should be beneath the expanse and the waters that should be above the expanse. And it came to be so. And God began to call the expanse heavens, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a second day. And God went on to say, "Let the waters under the heavens be brought together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it came to be so. And God began calling the dry land earth, but the bringing together of the waters he called seas. Further, God saw that it was good. And God went on to say, "Let the earth cause grass to shoot forth, vegetation bearing seed, fruit trees yielding fruit according to their kinds, the seed of which is in it, upon the earth." And it came to be so. And the earth began to put forth grass, vegetation bearing seeds according to its kind, and trees yielding fruit to the seed of which it is according to its kind. Then God saw that it was good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a third day. And God went on to say, Let lumen sorry. So this is like, a learning thing. So don't, go across some of my grammar, but and God went on to say, Let luminaries come to be in the expanse of the heavens to make a division between the day and the night, and they must serve as a sign and for the seas and for the and they must serve as signs and for the seasons and for days and years, and they must serve as luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to shine upon the earth. And it came to be so. And God proceeded to make the two great luminaries, the greater luminary for dominating the day, and the lesser luminary for dominating the night, and also the stars. Thus God put them in the expanse of the heavens to shine upon the earth, and to dominate by day and by night, and to make a division between the light and the darkness. Between God saw that it was good, and there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a fourth day. And God went on to say, Let the waters swarm forth a swarm of living souls, and let flying creatures fly over the earth upon the surface of the expanse of the heavens. And God proceeded to create the great sea monsters, and every living soul that moves about it, which the waters swarmed forth according to their kind, and every winged flying creature according to its kind. And God got to see that it was good. With that God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and become many, and fill the waters in the sea basins, and let the flying creatures become many in the earth. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a fifth day. And God went on to say, Let the earth put forth living souls according to their kind, domestic animals and moving animal, and wild beast of the earth according to its kind. And it came to be so. And God proceeded to make the wild beast of the earth according to its kind, and the domestic animal according to its kind, and every moving animal on the ground according to its kind. And God got to see that it was good. And God went on to say, Let us make men in our own image. And God went on to say, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have in subjection the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the heavens, and the domestic animal, and all the earth, and every moving animal that is moving upon the earth. And God proceeded to create the man in his image. The God's image he created him. Male and female he created them. Further God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and become many, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have in subjection the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the heavens, and every living creature that is moving upon the earth. And God went on to say, Here I have given to you all vegetation bearing seed, which is on the surface of the earth, and every tree on there is the fruit of the tree bearing seed. To you let it serve as food, and to every wild beast on the earth, and to every flying creature on the heavens, and to everything moving upon the earth in which there is life as a soul. I have given all green vegetation for food, and it came to be so. After that God saw everything he had made, and look, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning, a sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth and all their army came to their completion. And by the seventh day God came to the completion of his work that he had made, and he proceeded to rest on the seventh day from all his work that he had made. And God proceeded to bless the seventh day. Hold on. And God proceeded to bless the seventh day and make it sacred, because on it he had been resting from all his work that God had created for the purpose of making. This is a history of the heavens and the earth in the time of their being created, in the time that Jovana, Jehovah God made earth and heaven. Now there was as yet no bush on the field found in the earth, and no vegetation in the field as yet sprouting, because Jehovah God had not made it rain upon the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground. But a mist would go up from the earth, and it watered the entire surface of the ground. And Jehovah God proceeded to form the man out of dust from the ground, and to blow into the nostrils the breath of life, and the man came to be a living soul. Further, Jehovah God planted a garden in Eden, towards the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Thus Jehovah God made to grow out the ground every tree desirable to one's sight, and good for food, and also the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Now there was a river shooting out of the Eden to water the garden, and from there it began to be parted, and it became as it were four heads. The first one name is Pishon. It is the one encircling the entire land of Havilah, there where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There also are the bdellium gum and the oxen stone, and the name of the second river in Jaiho. It is one encircling of the entire land of Cush, and the name of the third river in Hiddekel. Hiddekel. Sorry, my fault. It is the one going to the east of Assyria, and the fourth river in the Euphrates. And the Jehovah God proceeded to make the man and set him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and to take care of it. And Jehovah God also laid his command upon the man, from every tree of the garden you may eat to satisfaction. But as for the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat from it. For in the day you eat from it, you will positively die. And Jehovah God went on to say, it is not good for the man to continue by himself. I am going to make a helper for him as a complement of him. Now Jehovah God was formed from the ground every wild beast of the field and every flying creature of the heavens, and he began bringing them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call it, each living soul, it was his name. So the man was calling the names of the domestic animals and of the flying creatures of the heavens, and it was every wild beast of the field. But for a man there was found no helper, as a complement of him. Hence Jehovah God had a deep sleep fall upon the man, and while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs, and then closed it up on the flesh over its piece. And Jehovah God proceeded to build the rib that he had taken from the man into the woman, and bringing her to the man. Sorry, that's my fault. But hello. Did not mean to add you. I'm reading the Bible right now. That's my fault. Are you in class? You're in class right now? How old are you? Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to think about that. I had to think about that for a second. I had to think about it for a second. Anyways, appreciate the likes. I have to try to figure out where I was left off reading. Sorry. This Twitch angle is gonna really get me upset though. It's like completely just not for me at all. Anyways, where was I at? Okay. Then the man said, This is the last bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman, because from man this one was taken. This is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he must stick to his wife, and they must become one flesh. And both of them containing to be naked, and contained and continued to be naked, the man and his wife, and yet they did not become ashamed. Now the serpent proved to be the most cautious of all. Now the serpent proved to be the most cautious of all, the wild beasts of the field that Jehovah God had made. So it began to say to the woman, It is really so that God said to you, Must not eat from every tree of the garden. At this the woman said to the serpent, Of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat, but as for eating of the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, God has said, You must not eat from it. No, you must not touch it, that you will not die. And this the serpent said to the woman, You positively will not die, for God knows that in the very day of your eating from it, your eyes are bound to be opened, and you are bound to be like God, knowing good and bad. Consequently, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was something to be longed for the eyes. Yes, a young man for giving me a blow, and 7 times. Make sure. Okay, no, it's this one. Yes, the tree was desirable to look upon, so she began taking of its fruits and eating it. As therefore she gave some also to her husband when with her, and he began eating it. Then the eyes of both of them became opened, and they began to realize that they were naked. Hence they sewed fig leaves together and made it loin coverings for themselves. Later they heard the voice of Jehovah God walking in the garden about the breezy part of the day, and the man and his wife went into hiding from the face of Jehovah God in between the trees of the garden. And Jehovah God kept calling to the man and saying to him, Where are you? Finally he said, Your voice I heard in the garden, but I was afraid because I was naked, and so I hid myself. And he said, Who told you that you were naked? From the tree from which I recommend you not to eat, have you eaten? And the man went on to say, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and so I ate. With that Jehovah God said to the woman, What is this you have done? To this the woman replied, The serpent, it deceived me, and so I ate. And Jehovah God proceeded to say to the serpent, Because you have done this thing, you are now cursed. You are the cursed one of all the domestic animals, and out of all the wild beasts of the field. Upon your belly you will go, and dust it when you will eat all the days of your life. And I shall put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will bruise you in the head, and you will bruise him in the heel. To the woman he said, I shall greatly increase the pain of your pregnancy. In birth pangs you will bring forth children, and your cravings will be for your husband, and he will dominate you. And to Adam he said, because you listened to your wife's voice and took to eating from the tree concerning which I have gave you this command, you must not eat from it. Cursed the ground of your account, in pain you will eat its produce all the days of your life, and thorns and whistles will blow for you, and you must eat the vegetation of the field, in the sweet of the face you will eat bread until the return of the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and the dust you will return. After this, Adam called his wife named Eve, because she had to become the mother of everyone living. And Jehovah God proceeded to make long garments of skin for Adam and his wife, and to clothe them. And Jehovah God went on to say, here the man has become like one of us in knowing God and in knowing good and bad, and now in order that he may not put his hands out and actually take the fruit also from the tree of life and eat to the time of infinite indefinite. With that Jehovah God put out of the Garden of Eden to cultivate the ground from which he had been taken, and so he drove the man out of the posted all of the east of the Garden of Eden, the cherubs and the flaming blade of the sword that was turning itself continuously to guard the way of the tree of life. Now Adam had intercourse with Eve, his wife, and she had became pregnant. In time she gave birth to Cain, and said, I have produced a man with the aid of Jehovah. Later she again gave birth to his brother Abel, and Abel became and came to be a herd of sheep, but Cain became a cultivator of the ground. And it came out at the expiration of some time that Cain proceeded to bring some fruit of the ground as an offering to Jehovah. But as for Abel, he too brought some firstlings of his flock, even their fatty pieces. Now while Jehovah was looking with favor upon Abel and his offerings, he did not look with any favor upon Cain and upon his offerings. And Cain grew hot with a great anger, and his countenance began to fall. At this Jehovah said to Cain, why are you hot with anger, and why have you countenanced fallen? If you turn to doing good, will there not be an ex ox exaltation exaltation? But if you do not turn into doing good, there is sin crouching at the entrance, and for you it is craving, and for you for the part get masters over it. How bad do I read? Just want anybody to be honest. How terrible is this reading, bro? Jesus. Um. After that, Cain said to Abel his brother, let us go over into the field. So it came about that while they were in the field, Cain proceeded to assault Abel his brother and killed him. Later on, Jehovah said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am am I my brother's guardian? At this he said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out for me from the ground, and now you are cursed in banishment from the ground, which has opened from its mouth to receive your brother's blood at your hands. When you cultivate the ground, it will not give you back its power. A wanderer and a fugitive, you will become you will become in the earth. At this Cain said to Jehovah, my punishment for error is too great to carry. Here you are actually driving me to this day from off the surface of the ground, and from your face I shall be concealed, and I must become a wanderer, and fatigue on this earth, and it is certain that anyone finding me will kill me. At this Jehovah said to him, For what for that reason anyone killing Cain must suffer vengeance several times, 7 times. And so Jehovah set up a sign for Cain in order that no one finding him shall strike him. With that Cain went out from the face of Jehovah and took up residence in the land of Fatigueness to the east of the Eden. Afterward, Cain had intercourse with his wife, and she had became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then he engaged in building a city and called the city's name of the name of the sons Enoch. Later there was born later there was born to Enoch Irad, and Irad became father to Mehudo and Mu sorry became father to sorry again. And after that, and Lamech proceeded to take 2 wives for himself. The name of the first was Adah, and the name of the second was Zillah. In time, Adah gave birth to Jabal. He proved to be the founder of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. And the name of the brother was Jabal. He proved to be the founder of all those who handle the harp and the pipe. As for Zillah, she gave 2 births to Tubal Cain to forgive of every sort of tool of copper and iron, and the sister of whatever that name is, Tubal Cain and Naamah. Consequently, Lamech composed these words for his wives, Adah and Zillah. Hearing my voice, hear my voice, you wives of Lamech, give ear to my saying, a man I have killed for wounding me. Yes, a young man for giving me a blow, and 7 times Cain is to be avenged. Then Lamech, 7 times and 7, and Adam proceeded to give intercourse again with his wife. And so she gave birth to a son, and called his name Seth, because, as she said, God had appointed another seed in place of Abel, because Cain killed him. And to Seth also there was born a son, and he proceeded to call his name Enosh. At that time, a start was made of calling the name of Jehovah. Thank you guys. What's up, Ray? Good morning, brother. I love you. I love you a lot, bro. Where was that? This is the book of Adam's story. In the day of God's creation, Adam, he made him in the likeness of God, male and female. He created them. After that, he blessed them and called their name man. In the day of their becoming, in their day of their becoming created, and Adam lived on for 130 years. Then he became father to a son in his likeness, in his image, and he called him Seth. He called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after his fathering, Seth came to be 800 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam that he lived amounted to 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived on for 105 years. Then he became father to Enosh. And after his fathering Enosh, Seth continued to live 800 years, 807 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth amounted to 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived on for 90 years. Then he became father to Kasan, and after his fathering to Kasan continued to live 800 years, 815 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh amounted to 905 years, and then he died. And Canaan lived for 400 for 70 years, and then he became father to however you say that. And after his fathering of him, Canaan continued to live 840 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan amounted to 910 years, and he died. Sorry, I'm butchering this name so bad. But he lived on for 65 years, and then he became father to Jared. And after his fathering of Jared, continued to live 830 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of, sorry if I butchered that again. So all the days of him amounted to 890 years, and then he died. And Jared lived on for 162 years. Then he became father to Enoch. And after his fathering of Enoch, Jared continued to live 800 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared amounted to 962 years, and then he died. And Enoch lived on for 65 years, and then he became father to Methuselah. And after the fathering of Methuselah, Enoch with the God, went on to walking with the true God 300 years. Meanwhile, he became fathers to sons and to daughters. So all the days Enoch amounted to 365 years. And Enoch kept walking with the true God. Then he has no more, for God took him. And Meshuel lived on for 187 years. Then he became father to Lamech. And after the fathering of Lamech, Meshulah continued to live 782 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Meshulah amounted to 969 years, and then he died. And Lamech lived on for 182 years. He became father to a son, and then he proceeded to call his name Noah, saying, "This one will bring us comfort from our work and from the plane of our hands resulting from the ground which Jehovah has cursed." And and after his fathering Noah, Lamech continued to live 595 years. Meanwhile, he became fathers to sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech amounted to 777 years, and then he died. And Noah got to be 500 years old. After that, Noah became fathers to Shemon and Japheth. Sorry, my head's been down this whole time. It's my fault. Thank you for the likes. What's up, Joe? I'm live on Kick and Twitch right now, but my Twitch camera is so screwed. I can't get it to flip. So we'll just worry about that tomorrow or something. But yeah, like I was telling everybody else, supposed to open up the Bible yesterday around like 12 or 1, but I was doing some things. So then first day opening up the Bible in about 15 years, and I'm just gonna read it from Genesis. I'm gonna start from the beginning. Um, just because I want to dissect it a little bit. I kind of want to do some research on it. Um, and honestly figure out, you know, which way to go, which way to point my light, because everybody has a piece of light in them and they just need a little guidance sometimes. and guidance is the best when it comes from true purity, if that makes sense. Um, because like what I was saying is, before when I didn't believe that, there was a God or, I always believed that Jesus Christ, God was real up until about, when I was about 15 or 16. Then I just started believing it was the universe. Like, oh, the universe will point me in this direction, the universe this, the universe that. The universe is me, we are the universe, we are our own God, or however people want to go about it. But at the end of the day, there's so much evil in this world, and that's like the biggest thing that I was just talking about. Is there's so much evil in this world, you can't deny that there's a devil. You can't deny that, right? So if you know that there's evil in the world, you also know that there's good. And with there's good, there has to be a God. So craziest thing is, Monday morning I asked God, I need just signs from today, Monday, you know, showing which way to go and which way you want me to go, which way is the right way. And I slept in pretty long, just trying to think about it and just trying to understand, what God really wants from me. And I met some people, some ministry people at QT pretty randomly, and I just kept getting signs that, they that God just wants me to get closer to Him. Um, and streaming and everything, that's been pretty much my goal for myself is, to get into content creation, get into my company and everything, and kind of just research as much as I can about something positive. And I don't know how else to get in front of a camera and work without getting bored or without not knowing what to do because when I do certain things, it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it doesn't, at the end of the day, everything that's not God doesn't matter. Like, it's very, very, very obvious from the first 12 pages of Genesis. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, I mean that kind of proved my point. Like just opening up the first page of Genesis, it said that God created the light and He created the dark, and that's just like enough sign that I need for today. You know what I mean? But like with sitting in front of camera and like not knowing what to do, I think talking about God or talking about my experiences or talking about what had happened or even just getting in front of a camera and being confident enough to turn on the camera and everything like that. You need God in your heart for that, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at. But let's just continue, move forward, and finish Genesis, cause I'll start crying, bro. Now it came about that when men started to grow in numbers on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, then the sons of the true God began to notice the daughters of men that they were good looking, and they were taking wives for themselves, namely, all whom they choose. After that, Jehovah said, My spirit shall not act towards man indefinitely, and that he is also flesh. Accordingly his days shall amount to 120 years. The Nephilim proved to be in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of the true God continued to have revelations with the daughters of men, and they bore sons to them. They were the mighty ones who were of old, the men of fame. Consequently, Jehovah saw that the badness of man was amounted in the earth, and every inclination of the thoughts of his heart were only bad of the time. And Jehovah felt regrets that he had made men in the earth, that he had made men in the earth, and he felt hurt at his heart. So Jehovah said, I'm going to wipe men whom I have created of the surface of the ground, from man to domestic animal, to moving animal, and to flying creature of the heavens, because I do regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Jehovah. This is the history of Noah. Noah was a religious man. He proved himself faultless among his com com contemporary. Sorry, I butcher words. My fault. Let me lock in. Um, this in the history. This is the history of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He proved himself faultless among his contempor. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher that word so bad. Noah walked with the true God. In time, Noah became father to three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the earth came to be ruined in the sight of the true God, and the earth became filled with violence. So God saw the earth, and look, it was ruined, because all flesh had ruined its ways of the earth. After that, God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, because the earth is full of violence as a result of them, and here I am bringing them to ruin together with the earth. Make for yourself an ark out of wood, a rizish, a rinzis tree. You will make compartments in the ark, and you must cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you will make it: 300 cubits, the length of the ark, 50 cubits its width, and 30 cubits its height. You will make a tosar roof or window for the ark, and you will complete it to the extent of the cubit upward, and the entrance of the ark you will put in its side. You will make it with a lower and a second and a third, so 3 stories. Thank you guys for all the likes, bro. It's gonna help. It's gonna help for sure. Anyways, and as for me, here I am bringing the deluge of waters upon the earth to bring to ruin all flesh in which the force of life is active from under the heavens. Everything that is the earth will expire, and I do establish my covenant with you, and you must go into the ark, and you and your sons, and your wife and your sons' wives with you, and of every living creature of every sort of flesh, two of each, you will bring into the ark to preserve them alive with you. Male and female they will be. Of the flying creatures according to their kinds, and to the domestic animals according to their kinds, of all moving animals of the ground according to their kinds, two of each will go in there to you to preserve them alive. And as for you, take for yourself every sort of food that is eaten, and you must gather it to yourself, and it must serve as food for you and of them, and for them. And Noah proceeded to do accordingly to all that God had commanded him. He did just so. After that, Jehovah said to Noah, go, and you and all your household in the ark, because you are the one I have seen to be righteous before me among this generation. Of every clean beast you must take of yourself by sevens, the sire and its mate, and of every beast that is not clean, just two, the sire and its mate, also of the flying creatures of the heavens by seven, male and female, to preserve offsprings alive of this on the surface of the entire earth. For in just 7 days more I am making it rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe every existing thing that I have made off the surface of the ground. And Noah proceeded to do accordingly to all that Jehovah had communicated or commanded him. And Noah was 600 years when the deluge of the waters occurred on the earth. So Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, into the ark ahead of the waters of the dwellage of every clean beast, and of every beast that is not clean, and of the flying creatures and everything that moves on the ground. They went in by twos to Noah inside of the ark, male and female, just as God had commanded Noah. And 7 days later it turned out that the waters of the deluge came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day on this month, on the day of all the springs of the vast watery deep were broken open, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the downpouring upon the earth went on for 40 days and 40 nights. On this very day Noah went in, and Shem and Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, and the wife of Noah, and the three wives of his son with him into the ark, they and every wild beast according to its kind, and every domestic animal according to its kind, and every moving animal that moves on the earth according to its kind, and every flying creature according to its kind, every bird, every winged creature. And they had kept going to Noah's inside of the ark, two by two, of every sort of flesh in which the force of life was active, and those going in, male and female, of every sort of flesh went in, just as God had commanded him. After that Jehovah shut the door behind him, and the deluge went on for 40 days upon the earth, and the waters kept increasing, and began carrying the ark, and it was floating high above the earth. And the waters became overwhelming, and kept increasing greatly upon the earth, but the ark kept going on the surface of the waters. And the waters overwhelmed the earth so greatly that all the tall mountains that were under the whole heavens came to be covered, up to 15 cubits. The water overwhelmed them, and the mountains became covered. So all flesh that was moving in upon the earth expired among the flying creatures, and among the domestic animals, and among the wild beasts among all wild beasts, and among all of the swarms that were swarming upon the earth, and all mankind. Everything in which the breath of the force of life was active in its nostrils, namely all that were on the dry ground died. Thus he wiped out every existing thing that was on the surface of the ground, from man to beast to moving animal and to flying creatures of the heavens. And they were wiped off the earth, and only Noah and those that were with him in the ark kept on surviving. And the waters continued overwhelming the earth 115 days. After that, God remembered Noah and every wild beast and every domestic animal that was with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters began to subside. And the springs of the water deep, and the floodgates of the heavens became stopped up, and so the downpour from the heavens was restrained, and the waters began proceeding from off the earth, progressively receding, and that and at the end of 150 days the waters were lacking. And in the seventh month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on a mountain of Ararat. And the waters kept on progressively listening until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. Those of you who are new, thank you. I appreciate it. How much more of Genesis do I have? I have a lot. Okay. So I think we're gonna do, cause I've been flying through these pages. I think we're gonna do up to page 20. Yeah. If y'all haven't already, leave a follow. Y'all are liking the stream like crazy, so thank you. Um, I don't have my Twitch and my Kick up right now, but if you guys could go over to my Twitch and leave a follow, that would be cool too. Yeah, thank you guys for watching for sure. Honestly, you guys are great. If y'all also see TikTok Live AI and SEO TikTok, Nine's Video Marketing, go leave a follow to Joe. He's down here. He's the one that's on the bottom of this comment section. So just leave him a follow. He also gives a lot of good advice and things about God. So if you guys want to listen to him as well, He does lives every day. Talks about TikTok, and if you guys want to grow on TikTok, for sure, go listen to him. He knows a thing or two. He knows a thing or two. So it occurred that at the end of 40 days, Noah proceeded to open the window of the ark that he had made. After that, he sent out a raven, and it continued flying outdoors, going and returning until the waters dried off of the earth. Later, he sent out from him a dove to see whether that the waters had adapted from the surface of the earth or the surface of the ground, and the dove did not find any resist resting place. And the dove did not find any resting place for the sole of its foot, and so it returned to him into the ark because the waters were yet upon the surface of the whole earth. At that he put his hands out and took it and brought it into himself inside the ark, and he went on waiting still another 7 days, and once again he sent out the dove from the ark. Later on the dove came to him about the time of evening, and look, there was an olive leaf, freshly plucked in its bill, and so Noah got to know that the waters had adapt ad abated from the earth, and he went on waiting still another 7 days. Then he sent out the dove, but it did not come back again to him any more. Now in the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, it came about that the waters had drained from off the earth, and Noah proceeded to remove the covering of the ark, and to look, and here the surface of the ground and drained dry, and the surface of the ground had drained dry, and in the second month, on the 20th seventh day of the month, the earth had dried off. God now spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you, every living creature that is with you of every sort of flesh, among the flying creatures and among the beasts, and all the moving animals that move upon the earth, bring out with you, as they must swarm in the earth, and be fruitful, and become many upon the earth. At that Noah went out, and also his sons and his wives, and his sons' wives with him, every living creature, every moving animal, and every flying creature, everything that moves on the earth according to their families. They went out of the ark, and Noah began to build an altar to Jehovah, and to take some of all of the clean beasts, and of all the clean flying creatures, and to offer burnt offerings upon the altar. And Jehovah began to smell a restful odor, and so Jehovah said in his heart, Never again shall I call down evil upon the ground on man's account, because the inclination of the heart of man is bad from his youth up, and never again shall I deal every living thing a blow, just as I have done. For all the days of the earth continues seed showing and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night will never cease. So, just so that I can kind of like, stop reading for a second, what do y'all think the beginning of Genesis means for y'all? What do y'all believe from Genesis, the first book of Genesis? What do y'all find interesting about Genesis? Y'all have any comments? Because it seems pretty crazy, right? Like, just to someone reading for the first time, all the things that happened and all the things that he created. It seems like he created it pretty fast. But what do you guys think of the book of Genesis so far? God reveals himself before giving rules. So I don't know if this is the right book. I've never read the Bible. So this is kind of why I'm doing this stream in the first place. Again, I'll be live again tonight at 12 a.m. To read again, but um Jehovah, right? Jehovah. Does it always refer to him by Jehovah in the Bible? Um because I'm gonna get another. This is just one Bible I'm using for today, but tomorrow I'll be having another one. Will it also say Jehovah? God reveals himself. Blessing always flows through someone, not just to them. That is true. That is a good find. It's always gonna be so a big thing that I found, or a big thing that I kind of want to implement my life towards, is like God put us here for one reason, right? Is one reason is to, pass our good faith, pass our positivity, pass our the goodness that we have, pass it between each other, and that's the best way that we connect. It's the best way that we pay for goods and services. It's the best way goods and services are even just, there. But that's the biggest thing is, we won't ever do any good not being with each other, not, connecting. If we seclude ourselves, if I was to seclude myself in this room and not talk to anybody, that would be sin. That would be going against God's words of, you know, encouragement for us as human beings is to connect with each other. So God is known by many other names in the Bible. So that one word, that Jehovah word, or that name who is referred to in this Bible can be many different names in different Bibles. That's just a question I have, right? Because for me, reading the Bible, and I mean, I've been telling my uncle Joe, that's my uncle down there that's been commenting, but I've been telling him that I'm not going to read it because, I don't think that, I mean, I'm going to learn, right? I mean, everybody learns, but if there's so many different phrases or words that he's called by, or different religions or different books that have different names, is what should we really go by? Is like, what books should we really read? Or, and obviously, I'm naive. Everybody is. I can be naive to it because, God gave me the ability to. But I don't feel like I should go by Jehovah, right? I mean, but again, I'm a naive learner, so I'm learning. But if that word is changed over to God in a different Bible, right? Then why wouldn't I want to go pick up that Bible, like where everything that says Jehovah says God? Um, yeah, I need to figure out this Twitch layout because this Twitch layout, I don't know what's going on with it. He's also Yahweh. I've heard of Yahweh. I've heard of Yeshua. I've heard of Jehovah. Heard of God, Elohim. See, and that's why, and that's also why people should read the Bible, I think. If people are scared to read the Bible or they don't want to read it because, they're not understanding of it, and I think that's why you should pick it up because you should understand, what's real and what's not, or what's the differences, or what's the reason why he's called all these names by everybody, different names, or different names in the Bible. So it's gonna take a lot of research to kind of, figure it out for myself and understand why, he put me to read this book. He put me in this position to read this book for a reason. I need to find something, and I haven't really figured out what, but we will. It was a long book, so we will figure it out. once you get into the book of Proverbs. Where's Proverbs? Okay, so that's after Palms. Yeah, bro, I did. I saw the roses, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for all the comments. I appreciate it. Hold on. Let me do a quick Google search of that. Okay. I appreciate you guys. Honestly, I really do. Yeah, honestly, again, with this is a pretty old book, I think. New World Translations of the Holy Scriptures. It's pretty hard to read, but I think that's the reason why I wanted to read it, you know? Um, I'm not saying I'm stealing any type of ideas or anything like that, 'cause, people are doing some crazy things, but I didn't even change the title of this kick thing. Jeez. Um, but no, just reading it, um, kind of just getting better at vocabulary, getting better at pronunciation, and getting better at reading in between small lines is kind of just what I wanted to do. Um, I'm trying to learn as much as I can in the next year. I've went down a really, really bad path. So again, whenever I was in good spirits for myself, I was just learning every day. And as of right now, this is the best way I know how to learn as quick as possible. So just read. Yes, it's because it's an older version of it. Yeah, and I'm kind of okay with that. Like I'm gonna get a different Bible today. This is just one so I can start the stream today and kind of just read and connect with you guys. But yeah, I'm okay with it being a little hard. I need to get better at it. I need to get better at reading, so that's okay. But I need to switch up the title on OBS. Hmm. But yeah, what do you guys recommend for me, being that this is my first day popping open a Bible, my first day reading Genesis? What kind of comments would y'all have? I feel like that's a lot of reading. I've been through a ton of readings already, honestly, but still got some things to figure out. My kick and my computer setup with the camera and everything. So Joe, are you still here, Joe? Where you at, bro? If you're still in here, I need a new camera. I need a new camera for OBS, and I know TikTok is doing some great things with the cameras right now. They're doing pretty good, but this quality is not it. And my my Twitch is kind of aggravating with the whole layout of the uh, camera angle. But honestly, TikTok, y'all are doing great, so I'm just gonna stay here and just do TikTok for a while. I need to go live every day anyways, so you know I'm okay with it. But If you're new here, just leave a follow. I do a lot of bike content, but obviously with driving that bike, I had a little bit of an epiphany while I was riding. I was going pretty fast. I think I hit like 130 on it. Um, but man, I hit 130, and while I was going 130, my wrist was locked out, full throttle and everything, and I kind of told myself to never do that again. God wouldn't want me going that fast. Um, so yeah, yeah. And I'm getting all these noties, but I'm not gonna be able to answer them right now. But I'll be getting off here in about 20 to 25, 30 minutes or so. I'm gonna start reading again, but just taking a little break. Mm. Oh look, you can see me live on YouTube. That's lit. Live on YouTube as well. I do need a haircut though. Texas, Texas. Appreciate you guys so much for the likes. This live turned out really good, so I do appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna read a little bit more. Probably get to like page 17, probably page 19 at the end of page 19, and call it a day for the first reading. So I might I might get this do this whole book in a couple months, maybe like in a month, maybe 2 months. So um, hopefully it doesn't take that long. But after the Bible, I want to look at some more different readings, some different religious scripture, religious texts, and I'm gonna try to do some learning. In the back of these streams, I am working on a company right now. I'm working on two companies right now. No, I'm working on three companies right now. So I'm working on all the companies, intrusive, detailed stuff. That stuff that takes forever. But learning, business as well. I want to try to use the Bible as a guideline of how to run my business or my businesses to kind of give me inspiration on the best way to build them, the best way to, put good faith into them, and the best way to put positivity into those ideas because those ideas need to come from something positive for sure. Um, so those ideas will be spring through with the Bible, and the Bible's great, guys. The Bible's great. God is good. God is good always. So just remember that. Um, yeah, let's get to reading. But this is Genesis 8:16 um at 9. So, and God went on to bless Noah and his sons and to say to them, be fruitful and become many and fill the earth. And a fear of you and a terror of you will continue upon every living creature of the earth and upon every flying creature of the heavens, upon everything that goes moving on the ground, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand they are now given. Every moving animal that is alive may serve as food for you. As in the case of green vegetation, I do give it all to you. Only flesh with its souls, its blood, you must not eat. And besides that, your body of your souls shall I ask back. From the hand of every living creature shall I ask it back, and from the hand of man, from the hand of each one who is his brother, shall I ask back to souls of man. Many one shedding man's blood, by man will his will his own blood be shed. For in God's image he made man. And as for you, men, be fruitful and become many, make the earth swarm with you and become many in it. And God went on to say to Noah and to his sons with him, and as for me, here I am establishing my covenant with you men, and with your offsprings after you, and with every living soul that is with you, among fowls, among beasts, among among all living creatures of the earth, with you, from all those going out of the ark to every living creature of the earth. Yes, I do establish my covenant with you. No more with all flesh will be cut off by waters of the deluge, and no more will there occur a deluge to bring the earth to ruin. And God added, this is the sign of the covenant that I am giving between me and you and every living soul that is with you. For the generations to time indefinite, my rainbow, I do give it in the cloud, and it must serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. And it shall occur that when I bring a cloud over the earth, then the rainbow will certainly appear in the cloud, and I shall certainly remember my covenant. which is between me and you, and every living soul among all flesh, and no more will the waters become a deluge to bring all the flesh to ruin. And the rainbow must occur in the cloud, and I shall certainly see it to remember the covenant of to time indefinite between God and every living soul among all flesh that is upon the earth. And God repeated to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant that I do establish between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And Noah's sons, who came out of the ark, were Shem, and Ham, and Japheth. Later Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and from these was all the earth's population spread abroad. Now Noah started off as a farmer and proceeded to plant a vineyard. And he began drinking of the wine, and he became intoxicated. And he and so he uncovered himself in the midst of his tent. Later Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father nakedness and went telling it to his two brothers outside. And that Shem and Japheth took a mantle and put it upon both their shoulders and walked in backwards. Thus they covered their father's nakedness while their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. Finally Noah awoke from his wine and got to know what his youngest sons had done to him. And this he said, cursed be Canaan, let him become the lowest slave to his brothers. And he added, blessed by Jehovah, Shem's God, and let Canaan become a slave to him. Let God grant ample space to Japheth, and let him reside in the tent of Shem. Let Canaan become a slave to him also. And Noah continued to live 350 years after deluge. So all the days of Noah amounted to 950 years, and he died. Probably should go back and read over that and just kind of understand that a little bit more. But um, and this in the history of Noah's sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now sons began to be born from them after the deluge. The sons of Japheth were Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshech and Teraris. And the sons of Gomer were I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher these so bad. But there's three sons, and the sons of Javan were another three sons, or four sons. From these, the population of the isles of the nations were spread about in their lands, each according to its tongues, according to their families by their nations. And the sons of Ham were Cush and Mizraim, and Putin and Canaan. And the sons of Cush were Shaba and Shavish. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher these names again, but there's three sons. And the sons of Ramah and Shabib and Dedan. And Cush became fathers to Nimrod. He made the start in becoming a mighty one on the earth. He displayed himself as a mighty hunter in opposition to Jehovah. That is why there is a saying, just like Nimrod, a mighty hunter in opposition to Jehovah, and the beginning of his kingdom came to be Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Sinal, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land he went forth into Shiri, and set himself to building Nev- Nineveh. He built a couple things. Sorry, I don't want to butcher that so bad. Hey, I'm good. I appreciate the comments. Thank you. I will follow. Luna, thank you for your message. Thank you for the comments. Between, um, sorry, I'm between Nineveh and Calah, this is the great city. And Mejuram became father to Ludhim and Anahem, and I'm sorry, these names got me going. So there's like five different names, but I'm not gonna butcher them today. I'll try to learn them over time. And Canaan became father to Sidon, his firstborn, and Heath, and the Jubsite, and the Amormite, and the Girishite, and the Hivite, and Arch Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvad, and the Shimmerite, and the Hamath, and it and afterward the families of the Canaan it were shattered. So the boundary of the Canaanites came to be from Sidon as far as Gerar near Gaza, as far as Sodom and Garamarth and Armad and those words again, I'm so sorry. These were the sons of Ham, according to their families, according to their tongues, in their land by their nations. And to Shem, the father of the sons of Eber, the son of Japheth, and the oldest, there was also progeny born. The sons of Shem were Elon, and Ashur, and Aberpash, and Lud, and Aram. And the sons of Aram were Uz, and Hu, and Gather, and Mash. And to Eber there was two sons born. The names of the one was Pegleg, because in his days the earth was divided, and the name of the brother was Jacont. And Jacont became father to another two names, another four names actually, and their place of dwelling came to extend the Mesha as far as Safar, and as mountains and the mountains religion of the east. These were the sons of Shem according to according to their families, according to their tongues, in their land according to their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noah according to their families' descendants by their nations, and from these nations were spread about in the earth after the deluge. Now all the earth continued. Now all the earth continued to be of one's language and of one set of words. And it came about that in their journaling eastwards they eventually discovered a valley plain in the lands of Shinar, and they took upon dwelling there. And they began to say, each one of the others come on, let us make bricks and bake them with a burning process. So bricks served as stones for them, but bitumen served as mortar for them. They now said, come on, let us build ourselves a city and also a tower with its tops into the heavens, and let us make a celebrate name for ourselves, for fear we may be scattered all over the surface of the earth. And Jehovah proceeded to go down to see the city, and the tower, and the sons of the man he built, and the sons of man had built. After that Jehovah said, look, there are one people, and there is one language for them all. And this is what they start to do. Why? Now there is nothing that they have in mind to do that will be unattainable for them. Come now, let us go down, and they're confused their language that they use, not listen to the one other language. Accordingly, Jehovah shattered them from there all over the surface of the earth. And they gradually left off building in the city. This is why its name was called Babel, because there Jehovah had confused the lineage of the earth, and Jehovah had shattered them from there all over the surface of the earth. This is the history of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he became father to Aprashad 2 years after the deluge, and after the fathering, Shem continued to live 500 years, Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. Okay. I'm gonna leave off here, right here on Genesis 11:9, and we'll pick up after that. But thank you guys for being here for the first stream. My TikTok went crazy, so I appreciate that. But I'm gonna work on some things. I'm gonna get off live, but thank you guys.